When I find out a supposedly based on a true story film, TV show, or whatever is primarily a work of fiction, it's no surprise. At this point in time, people have come to accept that studios are willing to stretch the truth, skew it, or outright fabricate events in order to appeal to a wider audience. But this wasn't so common, or at least obvious, in the end of the 1990s going into the 2000s with the rise of internet usage and exploration in film practices. It was very difficult to discern reality from fiction, and I believe people in general are trusting. But we are past that. With 2020, technology is at its peak, and people are aware of marketing tactics, or at least have access to the internet to find out the validity of a film. However, today I'm going to talk about a story that eludes me. No matter how much research I do, I can't find any proof anything happened. Though producers and filmmakers claim they are being truthful, that doesn't really settle with me. This is the story of Densha Otoko.
If you like anything on your computer, you need to get DramaWiki. I like pretty much.
Densha Otoko, translated as Train Man, is a Japanese franchise that has been adapted into a novel, 4 manga series, a film, theatrical play, and J-drama. And I hear that there's rumors that they're making a musical too, so it's actually a really huge deal in Japan. I'm only familiar with the J-drama, but each form has the same premise, and I'm going to be basing off my reactions and the plot off the J-drama. Anyways, it's about a young otaku man who intervenes a drunkard from harassing some women on the train. As thanks, many of the women exchange numbers and addresses with him to send gifts, including an especially attractive woman around his age. Densha, as he is referred to on 2 channels online forum, recounted his story to all his online friends, as his act of courage was a first for him. This particular forum was sort of kind of like the Lonely Club, so everybody was really excited to hear this story. And much to his surprise, days later, the young woman from earlier, from Densha's story, sent him an expensive Hermes tea set, much to the excitement and support of all of 2channel. Thus, the online chronicles between Densha and Hermes' relationship begins. Densha, being an awkward, inexperienced man, at least when it comes to women, he seeks helps from his online friends to gain courage to call her on a date, advice on hairstyle and wardrobe, and it's culminating in Densha emerging out of his shell and professing his love for her. It's a heartwarming series filled with colorful, outlandish characters and very witty and creative filming style. And I never would have thought a show that heavily involved thread conversations and the writers' reactions would be so hilarious and entertaining. In the last decade, I would say there has been a short trend of creating films done in a desktop point of view style, which for me, this genre never took off, with the exception of 2018's Searching, and even then, it was just okay. I'm biased though, as I just want to have a film open up a world that's unbeknownst to me, that I haven't seen before, or at least is done in a really relatable way. And I feel like with that type of filming style, it's so constrained and restricted, and I always just feel like I want to get up when I'm watching these type of films. But it's really commendable to filmmakers that commit to that. Okay, sorry for the tangent. Honestly, I've been dying to talk about Densha Otoko, and I finally have an excuse. I absolutely love the series. And to think that this show could have been a true story, or at least is perceived as one, all the more fills me with a feeling of fuzzy camaraderie or humanity restored vibes. The series itself is 11 episodes long, each with about an hour or so runtime. It aired from July 7th to September 22nd, 2005. It went on to win a bunch of awards and launch the careers of many of the actors in the series. As much of a hit as this franchise was, there are people that question the accuracy of the adaptation. In a wiki page I found, and yeah, I know the irony of reliability of this page and I guess the show, it said that while many attest to the truth of the story, including the producers of the television series who supposedly contacted the real Train Man, it has not been proven that the story was completely authentic. The true identity of Train Man was never revealed, and the book is based on an edited collection of posts on the 2-channel bulletin board. The original conversation lasted 57 days and contained 29,862 posts, whereas the book contains 1,919 posts, as collected on a fan website, which I tried to open and either doesn't work or doesn't exist anymore. A list of inconsistencies in the story has been collated, including Train Man being too young to have a university degree and be in the workforce for 3 years. Furthermore, I found an article from Neojaponisme published a year after the J-drama, summarizing a writer from Kotaku's interview with a real-life Train Man, but it wasn't in person and it was done via email exchanges, which is very fitting and convenient. Anyways, it reads, "Some says he's real, others insist he was cooked up by some clever 2-channel posters. The book's publisher, Shinchosha, agreed to set up an email interview with Train Man, but acted as an anonymizing go-between. I don't think I could have done it without 2-channel," writes Train Man, who says he's still dating the pretty girl. So far, his life hasn't changed much. He works at the same company, visits Akibara, buys comics, and watches anime. And of course, he still posts about stuff like video games on 2-channel. Once an otaku, always an otaku. This interview brought up many red flags, such as the interview being arranged by the publisher of the original novel adaptation. It was also unlikely that if any of this was true, that the real Densha wouldn't have changed his life drastically, such as a new employment or reaping any benefits of the fame and fortune that these very successful properties have. It's a bit of a stretch to say that he's just living a modest life away from the limelight. But at the same time, we can't prove anything. However, the more I look into the very sparse information out there, the more likely it seems to be a hoax. And it's then up to the viewers to decide whether this matters at all to them or not. For me, it doesn't. I began watching the Densha Otoko series during a time where I myself was just getting into anime and spending more time online connecting with similar people. So on a surface level, I related to Densha. As I rewatched the series as an adult with my fiance, both of us couldn't deny a deeper relatability to the show. How he didn't feel fulfilled during work, his alienation at home, shallow relationships, and struggling with loneliness, self-acceptance, and the longing for a deeper connection with people. Is the show just a male geek fantasy where white knighting gets you the girl? Maybe. Does it market itself to otakus and wish fulfillment? Absolutely. Are creators manipulative of the term based on a true story? I think so. As I honestly don't know if the novel or subsequent adaptations would have taken off without that spin. At the end of the day, I love films. I'm fascinated by filming techniques, the hard work and creativity of creators, the escapism. I just love films. If it's well made, that's respectful of significant historical events, striving for accuracy in the portrayal of living people, and receiving consent of family members of deceased influential people. It's all good, and whether things are exaggerated or even a bit fabricated is not really an issue for me. There is an undeniable, almost instant appeal to a film's marketability when the phrase "based on a true story" is slapped on it. And filmmakers, or at least the marketing PR team, are aware and take advantage of our emotions. And that's where I find issues with based on a true story films. That one phrase, usually seen on a poster or fading over the trailers, signifies one thing: that the studio is attempting to have the audience emotionally bound to the film to elicit specific reactions and overall make a more dramatic experience for the viewers. the fear in horror movies, the empathy felt watching a sentimental film, or the positive influence seeing a inspirational triumph in a movie, made all the more intense and intimate as it's portrayed as true events. I'd imagine it's a tricky thing to create these films. Filmmakers are straddling a fine line between artistic choices and relaying facts. The films will always skew the truth in order to thematically tell a story, and I think at this point audiences are aware and have come to accept that. After all, we always have the option to research and find the answers for ourselves. And even if we can't find the answers, like with Densha Otoko, in the end, does it matter? My guess is not really. I know for me it doesn't, but it sure makes me feel smart to at least point it out. Anyways, I'm curious to see your comments below. Please comment below if there was a movie you genuinely felt bamboozled at. Like years later, you find out it was totally fake. I know for me, that feeling came from watching The Blair Witch Project. Anyways, like I said, comment below. Let me hear some of your stories. Is there anything that maybe I should watch? I'm always curious to watch something that is based on a true story. Despite this video being made, I do enjoy watching bioflicks and stuff like that, even if some of it is not completely accurate. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Again, you could just drop down the box from this video. You can see all the articles that I use, all my social media sites. And thank you again for watching. Take care. Have a good day.